What's up, Dirt Trax viewers? Luke here, bringing you guys a walk around video of a new model or a revamped model from Kawasaki. This is the first time we've done something with Kawasaki in quite a while. I'm out here at their new model intro for the Brute Force 750, and I did not get to bring a camera guy in this one, so I am doing this walk around all on my lonesome, and don't judge me harshly for it because I'm not a camera operator. That's just all there is to it. But I'm pretty excited about this one. Again, this is the first time I've been out to a Kawasaki intro in quite some time myself, and it's also the first time Kawasaki's done something new with the Brute Force in, I want to say, 12 years. So this is kind of a big deal. And yeah, so if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, and if you haven't already, turn the bell on so you get notifications when we upload new stuff, and make sure you like videos if you like them, and if you don't, leave us constructive comments so we know how to do a better job for you. With that said, let's get into it. This is Kawasaki's 2024 Brute Force 750. This is an LE model, and as you can see, it has been completely revamped in terms of styling. There's a lot of really cool stuff on this one. Nice package, nice features, and honestly a nice upgrade over what they used to have. Now, I will just come right out in the beginning and say that this is a visual upgrade. There's no mechanical updates here in terms of suspension, motor, driveline, none of that. This is all about looks and external features, let's say. So, I mean, you can immediately see the difference in how it looks. It looks dramatically different than previous years. It looks tough. It's got high fenders. The nose is very aggressive. I almost want to say Toyota-like, Toyota pickup truck-like, with that arch in the middle between the headlights. But you can see they've got LED accent lights in the headlights. There's one in the pod headlight as well. The pod headlight is new, and it has an accent light in it. All lights on this vehicle are LED, which is fantastic. One of the things that Kawasaki actually talked a lot about, I thought it was funny because it didn't seem like a big thing to me, but to them it is this grille cover right here, which is removable, easily removable if you want to mount a winch. But in previous versions of this vehicle, there was no grille cover, and that was just a gaping hole in the front of the vehicle, and it didn't look real good. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that that was actually true, and this looks significantly better. So it's a small thing, but it's something that will make a buyer feel better about their purchase. So again, cool looking design. I like the looks of it. All the way around, things are very angular. You know, even little spots like this up here are angular, and angular lines. Obviously, the headlight pod is very angular also. It's a tough looking unit. It really is. There's nothing wrong with how it looks. I'm very impressed. Now, I did say that there's no mechanical changes, and that is true. Now, I need to make a point of that, because while there are no mechanical changes, the Brute Force was like a good ATV. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who absolutely love the Brute Force and swear by it and won't buy anything else. And that's because it's super durable. They're tough as nails. The 750 motor has got great bottom end torque. It doesn't make crazy horsepower, but it's got great bottom end torque. It's not the fastest ATV at top end, but it doesn't need to be because of its excellent bottom end torque. It's clutched really well. Throttle response is fantastic. It's just a really great motor package. It's a 90-degree V-twin, and it's a really great motor package. I have nothing bad to say about it, to be perfectly honest. And after riding it for an entire day, we're at altitude here. I'm at about 6,000 feet where I'm standing right now. So even here where it's down on power, it still felt more than powerful enough. And back at sea level, it's going to get an even better boost of, what do you call it? Seat of the pants power? I don't know. Back here you can see the LED taillights. They're pretty cool looking. Let's just get into some specs here, some of the stuff that's new. So there's 3 versions of this. There's a base model, and it has steel racks. I guess I should say that first is that all versions get the same tire and wheel package. Even the base model gets aluminum wheels. This LE gets these machined face aluminum wheels, but they're the same wheel as the other versions. These ones just are brightened up with the machined face. That's it. That's the only difference. So the base model gets these pieces here are missing, no handguards, and no EPS, no power steering. So that's the base model. And it comes in at under 10,000 US, so that's pretty good. Then you move up to the EPS model, and with the EPS model, you do get these rack covers on the front, and then this larger rack cover at the back here that covers the whole rear rack. And you get EPS, obviously, but it has black wheels as well. I will say also that the base and EPS models get non-painted plastics. Then you move up to the LE, which is what this is. So this one gets hand guards, obviously it gets the rack covers, it gets the bright wheels. That's pretty much it to go up to the LE. There's not a lot of extra stuff with LE, now that I think about it. But there's also an addition, the LE comes in multiple colors. These are painted plastics as well, so premium plastics with paint. There's another version of the LE, another color combo that's way cooler, I think, than this green. This green's not bad, but it's definitely not flashy. There's another color combo that is way cooler. Tried to get my hands on that one, but there was only one available, and I didn't get it. So that's the LE. And then there's also an LE camo version, and it's basically the same thing as the LE, but it has hydro dipped camo graphics. It gets black wheels too, not the bright wheels. So honestly, I will say that the lineup is a little bit confusing in terms of what gets what and what the differences really are, because there aren't a lot of differences between the packages. A couple of things this thing has, again, I talked about the pod headlight. That's all new for this year, for this redesign. It's a nice pod headlight. Their reasoning behind it is it's steerable light, so in the dark you can steer. When you steer, you see where you're going. Great idea. And when you're plowing, it will shine over your plow. So it makes plowing easier and more effective. All of them get this storage container here, which is packed full of crap. It's not really big, but it's a really nice storage container. Actually, I haven't opened it since I started riding. Oh, it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty clean in there. No dust, so it's pretty well sealed. I'm pleased with that. That's a nice feature. And then you get this storage container here. I'll just move my goggles out of the way. And it has a funny kind of rubber latch to it. And it's a decent size. It's surprisingly big, actually, bigger than it looks in there. And it latches with this rubber thing. And then we come around here, and you get this little rubber holder. I don't know. Put a water bottle in there. A water bottle will actually stay in there when you're riding, which is nice. Or you could jam an extra pair of gloves in there, or you know, a first aid kit if you wanted, something like that. So anyway, this rear rack cover here, again, as I said, is all one piece, this whole thing back here, and it has some features molded into it. It's hard to see, but right here is a circle, right in here, I guess, is the circle, for a 5-gallon pail. There's a second one that goes along right here. Then there's a one in the middle that goes through here. And the idea is that you can put 2 5-gallon pails side by side and strap them down, or one in the middle, not 3. That's not the idea. But it's so that when you put a 5-gallon pail on here, it doesn't slide around at the bottom. You still have to strap down over top of it, but the bottom won't slide around, so it's far more secure, which is a great idea. It's not new. We've seen that before. The other thing they did, though, is you'll notice that the rack cover doesn't cover all the rack. There's spots here, 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 back here, and when you're up at the front, there's quite a few exposed areas all the way around the rack that are exposed metal. And the idea, that the entire reason they did that was to give you additional tie-down points if you're using bungees or ratchet straps or something, so that you're not pulling on the plastic to try and tie down, which is super thoughtful. I mean, it gives you the protection of the metal rack, or I guess the protection of the plastic rack. It protects the metal so it doesn't get all chipped and scratched the way metal racks tend to. So if you're putting stuff up here, you're not going to screw up your metal paint on the racks. But if you want to tie down to the rack, you can do that. And I think that's a really great idea. Also, there are other companies out there who have plastic racks with molded in tie down points into the actual plastic. But honestly, you can't ratchet on them very hard without starting to crack the plastic. This one, you could reef on these suckers and you'd be in good shape. So that's pretty nice feature. Some other things about the vehicle, your air filter is under here. And it's easy to remove. You take the seat off, there's a little latch down here, and it just pops right out to get your air filter. Super easy to clean. Around the other side here, you've got your oil filter. I don't know if you can see it down there, but it's right down in there. And it's super easy to get to. If you put the vehicle up on a stand, or lift the front end up and crawl underneath, you just got to pull the skid plate. You can get right to the oil filter, so it's easy to access. That's nice for maintenance. A lot of people do their own maintenance these days to save some cash, so that's nice of them to do that. Talk about the wheel and tire package. 12-inch aluminum wheels. You have these CST tires, and I actually don't see a name on them. They are CST tires. And they are 25/8/12s on the front and 25/10/12s on the back. So not a square setup. I honestly have been super surprised. The places that we've been riding today, these tires did a great job. We were in really rocky terrain, sharp rock, shale rock that's got lots of really sharp edges in it, and we didn't have a single flat in all the units that we had out today. And I think that's pretty impressive and says a lot about the tire. They also got really good traction. You know, I don't have anything bad to say about these tires. They're surprisingly good. Suspension wise, so this vehicle has the exact same suspension it's always had. And if I'm going to say one thing, if I'm going to complain about one thing, that's going to be it. Because you have just over, if I could remember the specs, they gave us a little sheet and I lost it on the ride, but it's like around 6 inches in the front and around 7 inches in the back, I think, suspension travel. And honestly, that's just not enough. I mean, we need more than that. You've got basic steel-bodied, gas-charged, preload adjustable, snail cam adjustable shocks all the way around. They are nothing special. They're not doing the vehicle any favors. They work fine on the small stuff. Actually, I will say I was fairly impressed on the small stuff. They work pretty good, and it soaked up the little bumps and gave a fairly plush ride. But as soon as you got into the heavier bumps, I mean, there's only so much you can do with that kind of travel, and the vehicle quickly got overworked. The suspension got overworked pretty fast. So I would really like to see the next iteration of this vehicle, whenever that may come around, get a real revamp with a new suspension system, because honestly, the Brute Force is it's an iconic ATV, but it's also a really, really good ATV, and it deserves more attention, in my opinion, from Kawasaki. It's very nice that they've done this revamp, and it's a very usable revamp. There's a lot of features on here that are worthwhile, you know, worth upgrading to. So yeah, good on them. Now, I did mention the gauge. I'm just going to move my gear here a little bit and show you guys the gauge, because it's a really nice gauge. Wipe the dust off. So they've got a full color TFT display here, and it's extremely readable. The information on it's really easy to see while you're riding, like things like the 4x4 indicator here, your speed, your fuel, time, your odometer, which can also be trip A and trip B. And then over here, you got an hour meter, hour B, battery level. I don't know why you have an hour A and an hour B. I've never seen that before. And then you can see in the sunlight here, you've got your neutral, reverse, EPS, all your warning lights, high beams, engine, check engine light. So that's all there, which is really cool. And it's a great display. Honestly, for being as small as it is, it looks bigger than it is. And it's really nice. They've done an excellent job with it. I will say that it definitely blows a lot of gauges out there out of the water. Now, it does have Bluetooth, so you can get your text messages or email notifications on the screen, which is cool. And there will be integration. They hinted at the possibility, or a very likely possibility, of there being integration with the Kawasaki app. I can't remember what the app's called. It's got a strange name, but and that will give you a lot of extra features that currently this gauge doesn't have. So it's a beautiful gauge. Really happy, really pleased. As soon as I sat on the vehicle, I thought, wow, that is a premium look. And it comes across all vehicles. They all get this, even the base model. So that's pretty sweet. Switch gear over here, standard stuff. Your front diff lock is a lever. So it's variable. So the harder you pull on it, the more diff lock you get. It's an interesting idea. And I see a benefit to it in some circumstances. But the truth of the matter is, if I'm in a situation where I need front diff lock, the chances are I'm going to want to hold on with all of my fingers, because it's probably pretty gnarly. So as much as I like this, and I almost think it would be cool to have this and a proper locker, like a push button, lock the diff, I think having both would be cool, because I do see a valid point to this lever. I'm just not sure that it's the best thing to be the only way of locking your diff. Over here, you've got your 2x4, 4x4 switch, and obviously you've got front brake here, rear brake here, and then rear brake down at your feet. So it is not single lever braking, it's split braking. The brakes work great though. This vehicle's got interesting braking compared to a lot of other vehicles out there. It has discs in the front, and then a sealed wet clutch or wet brake in the back. I don't even know how to say it, but it's basically a sealed brake that runs in an oil bath in the back. And the rear brake actually works pretty good. I was surprised. It has good feel, has excellent power, so nothing wrong with that brake. It's just a little different, and it does give you, I don't know if anyone who's ridden a Can-Am, the original Can-Ams that had the center mounted brake, you get that ratcheting sound in the back when you're on the brakes and bumps, and that was because between the brake and the wheel, there's a whole bunch of drive line, and all of that drive line has slack in it. And so because you're not braking the tire could rock back and forth a little bit, and it made a click, 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 click sound when you were on the brakes and bumps. And this does that too. It's not annoying. It doesn't get annoying or anything. It's something different. Another thing I think Kawasaki really needs to look at and could change is that they do have a hitch mount here, but it's simply a ball mount. Now, as you can see, there's quite a bit of room back here to put a 2-inch hitch receiver. And I really think that needs to happen. You need to have a 2-inch hitch receiver. And I mean, realistically, you could bolt one on here. You could put an auxiliary hitch receiver that bolts into where that plate bolts, and you could use your 2-inch receivers. The problem with this setup isn't that it doesn't work. It does. You can put a ball in there and tow a trailer. It's just not adjustable for height in any way. I mean, I guess up, because you can get those extended balls that go higher. But if you want your hitch to be lower, you have no ability to do that on this vehicle. So that would leave you with the possibility of towing trailers with the nose high all the time, which isn't ideal. So that's the reason I would think they should go to that. Not because you can't tow anything with this. You can. It's 1,250 pounds you can tow with it, which is pretty good. What else we got to talk about? I think that's really it. I love the sound of this V-twin. I'll start it for you guys so you can hear it, because if I don't, you'll yell at me. Honestly, V-twin power just sounds so flippin' good. It's a 90-degree V-twin too, so it's like the way to do it. Overall, I'm really pleased with this thing. I think Kawasaki did a great job with it. I think that the basics of it, the underpinnings, are still brute force 750 that we've come to know and love. And again, as I said, people are diehard dedicated to this platform and love it, and that's for a reason. So I think not changing that is probably not all bad. But at the same time, the suspension in particular is getting a little long in the tooth and definitely needs an update. Ergonomically, it's comfortable to ride. It handles decent. The EPS works great. No complaints about the EPS at all. All the controls work good. It's stylish. Yeah, so just top to bottom, I'm really pleased with how this thing works. I'm really pleased with how Kawasaki's done a good job of it. And it shows that they are dedicated to the ATV industry. I mean, they did invest a lot of money in doing this. This wasn't cheap. So they obviously care about ATVs, and it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that they've taken time to spend some money on an ATV. So with that said, that is all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a great time out here with Kawasaki. Appreciate everything they've done for us, and we will see you guys in the next one.